I had 9 years at university, so I was an intellectual, and my study was engineering and pure maths and philosophy.
Wow.
I come to understand now why I had such a background, but certain aspects of that intellect had to break down, because the problem with intellect is it only knows the history of things that happened, and things should always happen that way, but they don't. So although I was the scientist and I want to know, and as the engineer, I particularly would measure things to find out they're going to be this. And we measure it and we get the bell curve, which is how things are predictable. The things that I have seen break all the laws of physics. I'll tell you something from mathematics. When we study the world as it is, as an engineer does, we use applied maths, and it goes to 3 dimensions, if you like, because we live in this 3-dimensional world. However, when you look at pure maths, it has unlimited dimensions. That always fascinated me. It meant that all the laws that should operate to allow multi-dimensions to occur, we have it in the mathematics. But there was a gap, because in those days, I could never see that reality. It's infinity. Pure maths is basically proving infinity all the time, that infinity exists. So, you know, when you say we all have that, well, yeah, infinity. The point is, what could multidimensional even mean? And I'm not even going to answer those questions, because that's when you go and you want to be connected with your consciousness, which allows you to fantasize and dream. And yet those things can occur in this reality. So when I went to university, I didn't know what I wanted to do. I chose engineering because no girls did it. Why not do that? Be the only woman. I studied the physics. I loved it. So that's how all that works. Probability theory, materials engineering. This is how the physical world works. And then I didn't want to be an engineer. So I began to study philosophy and pure maths. I didn't find what I was looking for in philosophy. All I learnt was what people thought. Again, it's historic. And I went to my first personal development workshop, which, like Intellects and the way we operate when we go to touchy-feely things, is aghast. It's only my brilliant head that we need. However, I did my first personal development workshop and I began to understand about emotion. And that emotion was part of the engine that creates the world we have. And when people hear emotion, intellects don't want emotion, because they get foggy, except they never touch truth. As intellects, we can only look at what is there, but we cannot create what was never there before. So I just knew in my heart there wasn't enough. So I began to understand the power of emotions, and I saw grey people who came in become bright and passionate, and here was the way through. So my heart opened. I never even knew that was experience. I was quite happy that I didn't even have a body. I'm laughing now because embodiment is how all the things get generated. It is so ironic. Anyway, I then do a course, or I study under a master, body detoxification and transformation. Now, in the 80s, that was avant-garde.
Sure.
The lame could walk and the blind could see. It was so amazing. Based on a Chinese system, 5-element theory. And so I became a missionary. I was so excited because it was like people could lift their pain. Pain could leave. And I, as a missionary, went to Hong Kong, did no market research. I don't do that. It was like, people want this, they're going to want it there.